Brutal here at the Houston, Texas Regional. My goodness, post Sacramento. We have here top 8 contested, possibly top 4. Yo, please introduce yourself to the world.
Hi, my name is Ameen, and today I was playing Gimmick puppets at the Houston Info Regional.
Oh, what made you decide to play this deck for the event, man?
I think it has a really good matchup into Tenpai and also everything else. This deck is amazing when you win all your dice rolls. So. And that's, yeah.
Sweet, and that's 7 wins, 1 loss. What deck beat you in Swiss?
That was Fiendsmith Snake Eye. Okay. I won that dice roll. Game 3, he had the right interruptions for my place, believe it or not, and he timed them well enough to stop me from being able to do anything meaningful, and then he OTK'd me. So that was my only loss today. Everything else, well, I won the die rolls, and it was game 1 win and or game 2 win, and then if not, game 3 was a win.
All right, before we see the top goo, any shout outs?
Yes, I'd like to shout out Speedy and Pond Gaming on Discord for extensive help with the deck list. And shout out to all the friends at Omega Gaming, that's my main locals here in Houston, and all the friends back in Rhode Island and Massachusetts from where I'm hailing from.
Awesome, without further, please take a look at the rest of the deck profile.
Yeah, for sure. We'll start off with a few of the key monsters. 3 little soldiers. This is your main playmaker. This will send a non-level 4 for a cost. This is generally making your other card live here, the Rouge Doll, which fetches another card from the deck and allows you to start making your Gimmick puppet plays. So this one will actually summon Cattle Scream from the deck, which is able to recur later on in the turn and detach material in order to set up the full FTK combo. These are the main ones. You absolutely have to play all of these, in addition to, I think most people on this deck play 2, Terror Baby. This is a versatile card. If you send it to the graveyard before you start your plays, you can banish it and give protection by making your opponent unable to respond to your Gimmick puppet activated effects. Or if you normal summon it, which will usually happen later in the combo, it revives the Gimmick puppet in defense position, which that is useful for doing that final push of damage. Other one-ofs include these 2 cards. Bisque Doll, it gives another type of protection when sent to the graveyard. You prevent your opponent from targeting your Gimmick puppets, which is very valuable. And then Dreary Doll is an extender. This card, I was on the fence about it, but actually having this and enough extenders in hand allowed me to play through an opponent who had Bistials, which this deck is actually very vulnerable to. So that's the main Gimmick puppet monsters. Very nice. I'll just get rid of these here. And now for the actual main playmaker of the Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. So this card on its own, if your opponent does not have any interactions, is the FTK. This will add little soldiers. Little soldiers will send Rouge Doll. Rouge Doll will fetch the Cattle Scream, and then it's off to the races from there. I can show like a quick combo at the end, but for now, this is the MVP. Really love this field spell. More Engine Condolence Puppet. This is useful in terms of being able to send at least 1 Gimmick puppet from deck to grave. So if you have both of these cards in hand and you want to lead off with protection, you'd use Condolence Puppet in order to send Terror Baby to the graveyard at the start of your turn, banish Terror Baby, and then it's like you're under branded lost. All your stuff cannot be responded to if it's activating an effect. Oh, and then we have last in-engine piece, Service Puppet Play. This comes up sometimes. It's a trap card that lets you take control, target and take control of your opponent's monsters up to whatever many XCs you have that are Gimmick puppets. And sometimes if you get stopped midway through your combo and you have this ready, you can set it and have some disruption. If your opponent didn't end up playing or enough engine, then you can stop their turn and then proceed to finish killing them. Okay. So that's all the in-theme puppet or Gimmick puppet cards. Honorary Engine is the Rank Up Magic Argent Chaos Force. You play 2 because if you see one, you want to be able to search it because that allows you to facilitate the rest of the plays downstream. Now we'll start getting to good generic cards. Terraforming and Ret Set Rotation. 2 more copies of the field spell that you need. Foolish and Called By. Foolish as another way to get that protection, or maybe engine, called by in order to protect yourself from an Ash Blossom, a Droll Lockbird, which is a really key threat. Speaking of Droll Lockbird, that's why I have, wait, no, wrong one. Crossout Designator. In addition to crossout targets, and then 2 Imperm. These are a lot of the main threats for the deck, depending on when your opponent decides to interrupt you. And I want to just have this in hand as additional protection in case they open something and I don't have Mansion to protect against key threats. All right, now we're gonna get to Forbidden Droplet. This is the space filler. I couldn't think of any better cards to put here. This allows you to have a chance, fighting chance going second if you didn't open any of your cross-out targets as hand traps. And sometimes even if you're open somewhat bricky, you can still set Droplet and maybe have a chance to like prevent your opponent from ending your game 1. So that's why it's in the main. Now, we have the final cards in the deck as the Horus Engine. This, I think, was exactly what the deck needed. I wasn't playing these cards, I was opting for more hand traps in a previous iteration of the build, but this has been fantastic. Imseti pitches a dead card in hand, adds this, which turns Imseti Engraven into a level 8 body, and then draws a card, which a lot of times I have just top decked that field spell when I needed to, or like just a key card to help me like push for game. So, would highly recommend. In a pinch, you also can lead with this card to bait out any hand traps. If your opponent is unfamiliar with the deck, Imseti pitching another card seems like a very good target to Ash, but that's typically not recommended. In the event that you also get Drolled here, you can set up King Sark, send Happy, special summon these 2, and I guess we can lead right into the extra deck.
Oh, what was the main deck count, by the way?
Oh, the main deck count is 41. I felt like going over 40 was fine in this case. There's a lot of consistency, and I don't think I could cut any single thing here. Back to this play. So, if you lead with Horus and you get Drolled, you have the option of setting up number 68, Sanafon the Sky Person. The only scenario that you'd summon Sanafon the Sky Person is this one, because Rushdoll would lock you into Gimmick Puppets. So that's why I'm going to start with this here. And then this prevents your opponent from special summoning from the graveyard, can't be destroyed by card effects. It's a good blanket turn ender against certain decks. Yeah. So, on to the rest of the extra. We'll lead with, here we go. Gimmick Puppet Fanta 6 Machinix. This is the bread and butter. If you want to activate Imperm, you activate it on this card, because if allowed to resolve, you're going to add that rank up magic and gain a second normal summon, which that's how you'd use that Terror Baby to continue the FTK. Very nice card, which usually gets ranked up into CXE's Gimmick Puppet Fanatix Machinix. This one searches the Puppet Trap and also functions as a trigger effect, Drident that burns. So you can target and pop an opponent's special summon monster, and in some lines this will help you actually pop that Nibiru if you get Nibiru'd and do that final push of damage. Otherwise, it's a nice interruption to have, because if you're playing in a scenario where there's not too much time on the clock, your opponent is going to want to be worried about losing life points, especially if they can't burn more than you do. So, the other 2 cards are number 40, Gimmick Puppet of Strings. I love this card. This facilitates the actual damage dealing midway through the combo. You're going to give a string counter to your own big monster, and later on, you're going to rank that up into, yeah, there it is, C40, which is going to destroy those monsters with string counters, draw 1 card, and deal damage equal to the one with the most attack. This will help you maintain advantage, break boards, and deal damage. This is my favorite artwork and card in the entire deck. So after that, you're typically going to be linking cards into Gimmick Puppet Chimera Doll, which on summon does nothing. But what I like to do here is keep, let's see, Rouge Doll as an Xyz material. So when it's linked away, the Rouge Doll will activate, and if you're under Baby, they can't do anything to the summon here. You'll add that Rouge Doll, and this is on field ready for you to activate its effect with Baby, so there's a lot of continuity there. Then you'll activate its effect, either add a Gimmick Puppet or mill a Gimmick Puppet, and then after whatever you choose to do, you can special summon any Gimmick Puppet from hand. Next up, this card, it's used in very traditional like field spell only FTK lines. This allows you in the main phase 1, that's important, to deal damage using Xyz monsters that you've given the opponent. You got to be wary with this one. You don't want to put too much on your opponent's field and then start popping, otherwise they'll Nibiru you and you're out of ways to deal damage. Finally, we have number C15, which this allows you to play through Nibiru. If your opponent nibs you halfway through the combo, you can actually burn the Nibiru, destroy the Nibiru and burn for that full 3000 attack. This is never summoned. The Gigantes doll exists in order to facilitate plays with Rouge doll. You're going to reveal this one and then special summon a level 4 if you want. Yeah, it's just there for the option to do so. So that's main and extra. I'll go through the side deck now. 2 Lightning Storm, 3 evenly matched. This might as well have been the entire side deck. 7 out of 8 matches, this is what I was siding in, going second. Evenly goes crazy against a lot of the boards built in this format, especially in conjunction with Droplet to get it away from Fiendsmith Desiree. Skill Drain. This is the card I side in going first because if your field spell's up, your combo's interrupted, you set Skill Drain, you activate Skill Drain, your opponent can't do anything, and your monsters are invincible because their immunity comes from the field spell and not from any effects.
My goodness.
Yup. Now, Spooky Dogwood, I never actually saw this card the entire day. This was there in the event that I face off against a combo deck and I have lost the die roll and I need to buy myself some time, maybe prevent them from going overboard in terms of special summoning. It also functions as a good crossout target because I can't FTK through Dogwood. I know there's a line where you can do that, it requires some other cards, but yeah, I'd prefer not to have this card activated on me. Then we have Shifter, another crossout target. Thankfully I didn't face Tenpai much today, but it was there just in case. 2D barrier. Similar logic, I also was putting this in just in case I face like something off meta like White Woods, which synchro summons a lot, and that was my other backup card. And Harpy's Feather Duster. I couldn't honestly think of a good 15th side deck card, but this managed to do the trick.
And you did show some of the combo. I'm not sure if you wanted to show.
Oh yeah, I showed a niche line with Sanafon. I can show you what's probably the best way to FTK with this deck.
All right.
Yeah, we can just kind of get that pile going. So the cards you're going to need to start with, I think everyone by now has seen the Just Field Spell FTK, but the one that won me most of my games was Field Spell plus one of the 2 main starters. Right. So, these 2 cards here, you'll start with in your hand. You can have other cards in your hand. We're going to activate Mansion. Mansion's going to add Little Soldiers. If you have Little Soldiers, you're going to add Rouge Doll, vice versa. Just make sure you have these 2 in hand. Ideally, you'd have some blanket protection with Condolence, but if your opponent has no interrupts, or just 1 Nibiru, here we go. Little Soldier's effect is going to send, well, at this point you have a few options. If you have a feeling your opponent's on Imperm or they have Bestials in hand, actually let's do if they have Bestials in hand. We send Dreary Doll, that can be Bisque Doll if you feel they have Imperm. That's there, it's going to be level 8. Next up we activate Rouge Doll, revealing, oh, I guess I should turn these around. Rouge Doll, revealing any rank 8 for cost to special summon itself, and the Cattle Scream. The Cattle Scream. Wherever in deck it is. This also happened quite a few times, just like losing track of where things were. Ah, here we go. Cattle Scream. So now you have 3 level 8s on board. This is what's needed to continue the combo. This is the Grave. We're going to overlay these into Fantasix Machinix. If this is allowed to resolve, you're going to detach Cattle Scream, search for a rank up, which you are then going to activate in order to summon Fanatix, which will then search your trap card, Service Puppet Play, the backup plan. At this point, you're going to activate Cattle Scream Engrave, detach this, special summon here. Oh, here we go. Special summon number 40. You'll activate the trigger effect of Argent Chaos Force when a rank 5 or higher Xyz is summoned. Once per duel, you can add this back to your hand. So these two are currently in hand. You'll activate C40, detaching, putting a string counter here. You'll activate this card, detaching, putting a Scream on the opponent's field, no counter. That'll come into play soon. You'll activate Rum, Argent Chaos Force, and special summon this. On summon, you're going to activate this Chainlink 1 and this Chainlink 2. So, Phanta 6 is going to revive itself and add the rank up back to your hand one more time, all in one effect. C40 is going to destroy this, draw a blank, and deal 3,100 damage to your opponent. So, at this point, this is still in the opponent's field. You're going to want to activate this card's effect. Put a string counter on this. Now, you're going to link these two off. Special summon, some extra monster zone. Chimera Doll. On summon, if you're under baby, you can prevent people from interacting with this by activating Rouge Doll Engrave. Since it has hit the graveyard and not from the hand, you're going to add it back to your hand. Now you're going to activate Chimera Doll's effect, adding Terror Baby. And then special summoning this guy right here. You're going to use your second normal summon that you got from searching the rank up to normal summon Terror Baby. Effect target C40. C40 effect is going to wipe this because it has a string counter, draw one more card, deal 2,000 damage. At this point, you're Nibiru proof. We'll go over what happens after the normal line if you get Nibiru'd here. You're going to banish Little Soldiers from Grave. Target this, add 4 levels to it. Overlay here, make your second number 40. Number 40 effect is going to detach, put string counters here and here. At this point, might as well just banish the baby to give yourself immunity. And activate that rank up magic for the final time. Over here, special summoning C40. C40 will destroy and deal the last damage that you need to push for game.
Oh my goodness.
Quickly going over if you get Nibiru'd. That's why I like this line. So you normal summon this. This is over here. Scream is in play. So let's say someone Nibiru's you, Nibiru here, Nibiru here. You're still going to continue by making this a level 8, overlaying for number 15. You're going to use Mansion's effect in order to detach, special summon this to their field.
Okay.
All right. This will still have a material here. You're going to want to banish baby just in case. You're going to use number 15's effect. Destroy this, deal 3,000 damage. Rank up magic into, this is that final card, C15. C15 is going to pop that Nibiru and secure you the win.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with this. A lot of the lines just kind of devolve into shenanigans with string counters, for me at least. If you know or you're fairly confident your opponent doesn't have Nibiru, you can just summon this, put 2 Xyz monsters, and just like pop twice. Keep in mind though, this is only in the main phase 1. Yeah. Some people have tried using this in the main phase 2, and it's been detrimental for them because they just can't do that.
Well, hey man, thank you so much for the deck.
Of course, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, really happy I got this far with the deck. I've been waiting, basically over 10 years to meaningfully play this deck, and I'm glad to see the new support help it.
Well, congrats again, everyone.
Thank you so much.
And, until next time, everyone. All right.